Today we are going to talk about one of the most important topics in this program, intimacy, and the different modes we can sometimes fall into when we communicate on an intimate level. So let's get started right away with our relaxation. Let's get that canvas clean. Let's acclimatize ourselves with the tension, pain, thoughts and feelings that are currently occurring in the body. We'll start by releasing tension in the face, shoulders and neck area. Don't forget to check your jaw and forehead. When the out-breath comes around, just pause, savor the out-breath and release those areas. Now bring your attention to the pain area. Check for any fear-related tension. Release that tension as you notice it. Now take in any thoughts on the in-breath and be sure to give your out-breath its full focus. Allow any thoughts to occur on the in-breath. Full focus on the out-breath. Do the same with feelings. Welcome any feelings in a gesture of acceptance with the in-breath. Then give your out-breath its full focus. And finally, release tension in your body as a whole. Feel that out-breath release all the way down to your toes. The feelings and emotions we experience have a long personal history. When we experience a feeling in the present, we are also experiencing a range of emotions from our past. It is the nature of being human. But this can get complicated in intimate relationships. Two people can be sharing the same moment of intimacy, and on the surface it might appear that both are experiencing the same feelings, but mixed in with those feelings are each person's past history, past experience, and memories of that feeling. And of course, tied in with all that is a person's expectations. So it is possible that two people can share the same moments, but have two very different emotional responses in that same moment. This is why communication in intimate relationships is so important. It gives each partner an opportunity to practice empathy, understanding, patience, and compassion towards each other. A person who fails to communicate adequately denies the other partner of those opportunities. Communication is also important to air out a person's expectations, because when expectations are not met, resentment can build. And it is almost impossible for any two people to know exactly what each other's expectations are. But communicating in intimate relationships is confronting and risky. Your partner could judge you, misunderstand you, take what you are communicating to them as a personal attack. Or even worse, they might start offering you advice. The modes of intimacy we are going to look at are based on work by Virginia Satir, a widely regarded family and relationship therapist. These modes are not set in stone, and they're not considered to be gospel, but they can be useful in identifying how you might approach some intimate or difficult situations. And they can be applied to any context. The first mode is placating. A person in this mode always puts the other person before themselves. Seeking approval is more important than being assertive. And so in this mode, a person is always apologizing for how they feel. They don't want to rock the boat. How often do you find yourself communicating this way? Can you think of any reason why you would or would not communicate this way? Pay attention to any feelings that might arise in your body as you think about this. The second mode is blaming. The blamer is quite critical and makes generalizations like, "You never listen to me. You're just like your mother." The blamer is afraid of their own emotions, and they react to those emotions by blaming the other. Think of a time you might have resorted to exaggerating or even shouting when communicating. Think of why you might have communicated that way. Another mode is computing. The computer is logical, calm and collected, and rarely admits to being wrong. The computer says things like, "Upset? I'm not upset." Or, "Let's not react emotionally now." The computer is afraid of any emotion, internal or external, and likes to imagine that everything is okay. This mode is not always bad. If someone is being unreasonable, blaming, or trying to upset you, then going into computing mode can protect you. But if you are trying to communicate honestly and intimately with someone close, then computing mode may be a form of avoidance. Reflect on a time you may have been overly logical in an intimate conversation. If you're communicating with someone and they're getting upset and you find yourself in computing mode, then you can still empathize with them without agreeing. You could say, "I understand you are upset, and I understand why you're upset, but I do not agree with you, and I'm not going to change my mind." You can be compassionate and still stand your ground. Spend a few moments now to see if you can imagine yourself doing that. The final mode is distracting. The distractor is always avoiding real talk, conflict, or emotions. They tend to avoid direct eye contact and direct answers, and like to change the topic to more trivial things. They can be hard to pin down. If distracting is a mode you engage in on a regular basis, then it's unlikely you'll recognize it in yourself, so we won't spend any time reflecting on it now. What is most important to know is that in each of these styles, the underlying feeling is the same. The feeling is fear. Reflect on this now for a moment. Do you experience fear when you think about communicating intimately? One of the most intimate things you can do with another person is get in a space where you both feel fearful and vulnerable, and just sit in that fear together. The journey through communicating intimacy, or trying to work through forgiveness, hurt, or any other relationship issue, starts by sitting with your fears of communication. Once that safe space is created between you and the other person, you can start doing the work. Never above you, never below you, always beside you. Walter Winchell.